We all are addressing communication. And each discipline takes a different look at communication. We are particularly interested in more of the developmental aspects of communication, the scientific basis for communication, and what can go wrong in communication. In our field, unlike communication, the focus primarily is the individual. We're interested in individual speakers. And certainly in some aspects of communication, the emphasis is on individual, but many of the aspects are on larger audiences or group effect. Here we're really interested in one-to-one communication.
I think one of the popular misconceptions might be that if you become a speech and language pathologist, you do that because you just want to work with young children. And in fact, many speech and language pathologists do work with young children, but we also work with people of all ages, from very young children, birth to 3 years of age, through school-age children, and we also work with lots of adults who have various communication problems like stuttering or voice disorders, or who have an acquired communication problem after they've had a traumatic brain injury or a stroke. So we treat people through life, from birth to death, essentially. One of the other misconceptions is that all we do is work with people who have hearing loss or who are deaf or hard of hearing. And while that's one very important group of people that we might work with, the training that students get in this field encompasses much, much more. To be a speech and language pathologist, you have to have at least a master's degree. You have to pass a national exam, which 99.8% of our graduates do. I think we have an incredibly high pass rate. So they have to have a master's degree, pass the national exam. They have to do what's called a clinical fellowship year, which means the first job they have has to be supervised, and they have to contract with a speech and language pathologist or audiologist to supervise them for a year, so that after that they are then eligible to apply for state licensure and certification by the American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association. So I think our certifying body of ASHA, American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association, recognizes that our education doesn't stop when we get our master's degree, that there's a lot to be said for on-the-job training and continuing education, which we're all required to do to maintain our license. We're not just about science. Even though the word sciences is in the name of this school, the coursework that is involved in this major includes more than science. Students in this major do take a course in, for instance, anatomy and physiology of the speech and hearing mechanism, and a course in speech science, but they also get a lot of coursework in normal language acquisition and speech and language development, and then the disorders of speech and language that may befall people of all ages. So it's science, it's education, it's psychology, it's a little bit of counseling, all rolled up into one ball of wax. And I think because this field encompasses so many different pieces of other fields, students find that their interests may lead them to areas other than speech and language pathology or audiology when they graduate. So some people who have graduated from our program with a bachelor's degree may go on to gain a graduate degree in speech and language pathology or audiology, but they may go on into other fields like psychology, education, social work, and a new field that's opening up for our graduates is the area of health communication, which Emerson has a program in at the graduate level. And in fact, we're encouraging students who are interested in health, biology, and communication to investigate this option of getting a bachelor's degree in communication sciences and disorders, to learn about normal and disordered communication, but then perhaps pursue a degree in health communication so that they can go on to go into marketing and advertisement and work in advocacy perhaps in the area of health communication. So I think that's a very exciting new field. There's something unique about the program in CD here at Emerson as opposed to this major that they might experience if they go to another college or university. One, I think, is the curriculum that I just described, that it's particularly hands-on and begins early on, freshman year. The other thing is that our classes are quite small. We are a small major within the college, and our classes can maintain small numbers. We're not talking about teeny-weeny, but we're talking between 10, 25 students, maybe as much as 30, but that's a small class, and so we as faculty get to know our students, they get to know us. It's a very collegial kind of atmosphere. We really care about our students as people, and that sounds kind of trite, but it's true. If students don't show up for a few times in class, we're, gee, where are they? Is everything okay? As opposed to, if you're one of 200 or 300 people in a large lecture hall, your professor won't know whether you're there or not. And I think we can then be really tuned into the different learning styles that our students may come to class with, and be better able to be flexible and adapt to their needs as well. We're also quite accessible. We're here, they take their classes in the same building that our offices are in, so it's easy for them to gain access to us.
Another aspect of our program is the quality of the program, and we have many indicators of that. Our current pass rate on the national examination is 97%. That is, in the past year, we have had only one student who had to retake the exam and then passed. The national rate is something like 80% now. We are consistently way above the national rate. In fact, virtually all of our students, without effort, pass the national exam. We have no courses that train you specifically for the national exam, just on the basis of coursework and clinical experience you pass. We were recently ranked by U.S. News and World Report as the 21st in the country. We're very proud of that because all of the schools ranked higher than we are research institutions. While we do research at our college, teaching is our primary mission. So you will find instructors and professors available for students. Research is important, but second to teaching.
We have a rather active on-site clinic that provides not only training for our graduate students, but it also provides opportunities for our undergraduate students to observe and get involved in the clinical aspect of this field. Throughout the curriculum at the undergraduate level, students are required to do lots of different kinds of observations of clinical activity. Starting in their freshman year, one of the things about our program here that may be different from other undergraduate programs that they're looking at is that our curriculum for our major begins first semester freshman year. They don't have to wait until sophomore or junior year to start taking courses in their major. Right as soon as they enter the door, they can start taking CD courses. And in that very first freshman course, we weave a lot of the clinical aspects of the field into it. They do observations through videotape. In other words, they're watching videotaped therapy sessions or diagnostic sessions in class. So it's guided observation with the instructor to learn just what this field is all about. Throughout the curriculum, particularly in their junior year, they take 2 courses that require them to observe not from videotape anymore, but right in our clinic. Our clinic is set up so that we have one-way mirrors with observation rooms so that students and parents and other people with permission of the clients can observe without being right in the room. They can watch through the mirror and see live what's going on in that therapy room. So that's a very important part of the curriculum and allows the students to get even closer to what's going on. And then if they have a specific interest, we often have volunteer opportunities for undergraduates in one of our clinical programs For instance, the Thayer Lindsley Nursery Program for hearing impaired children and their parents often seeks volunteers, and we specifically go for the undergraduates to get them right in if they have that interest. And then they're in the preschool program, they're working with the deaf, sometimes infants or toddlers, helping out right in the classroom. Upon graduation, our students for the most part have no trouble getting jobs. As a communication sciences and disorders major, you can elect to do field experience in your senior year. And I try to match students with places that they are interested in learning more about. Some of the places that our students have gone in their senior year have included several of the area hospitals, like Children's Hospital in Boston, New England Medical Center, Franciscan Children's Hospital, Mass Eye and Ear, and they work side by side with a speech and language pathologist or an audiologist, either observing their work or actually helping them and assisting them in their work. So that's an exciting option for students who are interested in that kind of setting. The students that have gone to Children's Hospital have generally been involved in one of the specific clinics at Children's Hospital. There are so many specialty clinics at that hospital that one can sort of pick and choose where they want to go. And one student recently went to the Communication Enhancement Clinic at Children's Hospital, Communication Enhancement Center, I should say. And in that center, in that clinic, they see a variety of children and adults who have, most of whom have some physical impairment that limits their ability to speak intelligibly, use speech to communicate. And they are evaluated, and various communication aids are prescribed or developed for them to assist them in their communications. So they might be computer technology and a variety of other technological aids that are offered to people to augment or supplement whatever speech that they may have. So students who have gone to that clinic have gotten a wealth of mostly observational experience, but seeing the range of people that come in who require assistance just to be able to communicate, and most of it is high-tech kind of assistance, so that's been very interesting for them. Technology has changed everything from hearing aids and the technology that makes hearing aids better to people who have had to have their larynx removed because of cancer. There's all kinds of new technology that enables them to learn to speak. What else? To computer technology that allows people who have very limited physical abilities to operate a computer. It may not be with their hands. It may be with a switch, with their head hitting a switch or puffing into a straw to actually operate the computer. So it really has changed the field dramatically.